Welcome to the Shake Up Podcast. I'm your host and co-founder of Mr. Consistent, Jared Bell. This is a podcast where we invite friends of the brand into our studio. We get to know their story a little bit better. We chat all things business, culture and marketing, all while shaking up a few cocktails. This week on the Shake Up Podcast, we have a guest unlike any others that have come through the studio this far. Domonic Bedggood is an Olympic diver and Commonwealth Games gold medalist. We chat to Dom about the hard work and determination it takes from a young age to represent your country at the highest level. What makes this episode special is how Dom gives us a glimpse into the pressures and the hardships that come along with that. Not only the physical side to training, but how mentally wearing it truly can be. Dom opens up about his last-minute decision to pull out of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and hopes to be an advocate for young men struggling with mental health. This episode needs a trigger warning as it contains topics around mental health and suicide. With the lead up to International Are You OK Day, we'd like to acknowledge the importance of mental health and knowing that you are never alone. In saying that, knowing you're never alone, me and Dom are here. We're going to chat through a couple of things, so let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of The Shake Up. This week, we've got a very special guest, Domonic Bedggood.
Hey,
did I say it right?
Yeah, not because we practiced 500 times before.
Domonic Beddgood. I would go with Beddgood. That's what I'd go with.
Yeah, Beddgood's good.
26 years old. You are born on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, born in Southport, raised in Burleigh.
Raised in Burleigh, and you live up in Brizzy now?
I do, yeah. I had to move there when I was younger for sports, but travel back and forth, like family, friends, still on the coast. So,
mate, the Goldie's the spot. Get back down here.
Yeah, it is. I always have arguments with Tommy.
Over
the Gold Coast.
Dom is a really good friend of Tom who records this podcast. He's hooked us up. Dom, you've had a pretty interesting little career. You've had a couple of career changes, career pivots in your time.
Yeah, you could say that.
You started off as a gymnast back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day when I was a lot younger, actually. I guess like every gymnastics story starts with the parent just like not wanting their kid to break their neck. So my auntie, as that goes. So my auntie took me in and I kind of like just found my feet in it really quickly. Don't know why, like none of my parents are extremely athletic. Neither are my siblings. So I'm like the golden child. And I make them know it every time.
For reference, Dom is an Olympian. He is a Commonwealth Games gold medalist.
Yeah.
Was it
two-time?
Two-time gold medalist.
Yeah, two-time.
So we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's where the gymnastics sort of came in. Mate,
missed two-time Rio Warzone winner. Also,
Dom is also a
not
gamer.
Big deal, but just saying.
Dom and Tom also play lots of PlayStation together.
Whoa, don't say lots. I got a life.
You just told me you guys played like 8 hours in a day or something ridiculous.
Didn't say that.
8 hours in a day.
Shit.
What do you do? Do you do, mate? Do you do more? You've gone from gymnastics.
Yeah.
You had an absolute like a horrific accident. How old were you when you had that accident?
So I was 15 when that happened. So when I was coming through the ranks in gymnastics, like I progressed really quickly. And then when I was 9 years old, the gymnastics club I was at kind of saw that I was progressing a lot quicker. And so they approached my mum and said, hey, look, we noticed that, he's just getting it a bit quicker.
Yep.
Maybe you should trial him out for the High Performance Centre in Brisbane. And so when I was 9, like my mum, who, cannot thank enough, like always get goosebumps when I talk about her, packed up her life and moved up to Brisbane with me. And we lived with my grandparents from when I was 9 to, when I was 19. And so I was, pretty good. That sounds arrogant. I was pretty good.
When you go into a high performance let's be serious. Like no one in here is judging. Like I'm pretty good at a couple of things. Tom's pretty good at nothing.
I wake up in the morning. I'm good. Excellent. And was doing that. And then 15 had that horrific accident, which I just showed you on my Instagram. Mate, it's on my Instagram if anyone wants to check it out. It's like down the bottom.
What's your Instagram? Your Instagram is, don't go check it now. Check it after this episode is finished. But it's at Dom Beddgood. We'll put the links in there in here, but you can go check, mate.
It's right at the bottom.
It's one of those
reverse scorpion.
I watched it and
reverse scorpion. Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
My instant reaction was, "Whoa, holy shit!" Like there was like 2 stages of like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I'm like, I guess I'm used to it because I've shown it to. It's like my party trick. Some people can do I don't know, open a fucking beer bottle with their teeth. I'm like, you want to see me break my back? And so, yeah, I'm just like so quick to show people if it comes up in conversation.
For reference, it was on what's the bars called?
High bar,
the
yeah.
high bar.
So,
So
high bar.
we spin out, like you're basically going around and around like a.
Yeah. Like a hamster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reference
Like a hamster wheel, but you're attached with your arms, not running on your feet.
Yeah.
Going around and
We've really
around.
gone down the rabbit hole of this. Anyway, so it's like a 2 meter high metal bar. And so like it doesn't have a lot of give, this thing. And so like I essentially landed like in the middle of my back on this thing.
Up,
so
like 2 meters up in the air, bang.
Yeah, flying through the air, like just kind of was supposed to re-grab
If you're
the
watching
bar.
the video,
That's the
Dom,
bar.
the bar and Dom's back curved around it like
Yeah.
this basically, and then fell into the foam pit essentially after.
Yeah.
But you just told me like your coach walked over and was like,
Yeah, so
"You're right."
Like one of the best coaches I've ever had, but in that moment, like he's from Belarus, so like real old school kind of coaching mentality around that like toughness.
Yeah.
And so like I was just like in agony in the pit, just like like gasping for air. And he came over and he was just like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't think so." He's like, "You get out or I call ambulance in 5 minutes." I was like, "Okay." And so I was just like, that was a really bad accent. And so I was like trying to like crawl
Sounds scary.
out. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. And so yeah, crawled out and kind of just like laid there for about 20 minutes, trying to figure out if I can kind of move around. Like jumped up, did like the old bend in the the back I guess test.
Yeah.
And was just like can't really move. Thought I'd go home, sleep it off. I'm like, I'm 15. I'll fucking bounce back from this. And
It's like a sprained ankle.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like jamming your toe on the door essentially when you're that age. And then went and then like woke up the next morning. I was like, "No, Mum, like something's wrong. Like I can barely fucking pick up my backpack." And so we had to get like scans, MRIs and shit. What's this one scan I got? It's like they inject something in you, and it makes you feel like you pissed yourself. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, I've got a disease in my hip, but they did the same sort of thing, and it's like basically it makes all your veins like go fluoro.
Is that okay? Yeah, that's what it does.
So
yeah.
it's I'm pretty sure it is that it's still
like
in
radiation?
it's still in an MRI.
Yeah. You
tunnel.
go in. Yeah.
It's still in an MRI tunnel, but they basically pump you full of stuff so they can actually see where all your veins are and where things are and what's moved where. And after they've done the first scan, they go back in and do it again. I'm no doctor, but I've had it done before.
I was just about to hand you PhD.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
But I've had it done before. But yeah, they highlight it basically highlights all your veins and makes everything glow, and they can actually see where stuff is and where stuff's moved, or if
I feel like I'm talking to a Wikipedia page. Like you just give me
I'm
the
not
whole
Dr.
outline.
Carl.
Anyway, this is actually a doctor show now. So anyway, back to the got that. Showed 4 stress fractures in the right side and like my L4, L5 vertebrae.
Yep.
And then had another one in the left side, which had been there for like quite some time. But like, that's the fucking unfortunate, repercussions of sports at times, I guess.
And then what happens from there, mate? Like obviously you just don't, it's not easy to recover from a broken back. It just doesn't repair itself.
Yeah.
And then
You're kind of hoping it does. You're like, fuck, pop some cold and flu tablets. That baby will be good in the morning.
what goes, you go into like at 15 years old. You're right.
That's stronger than I thought it was going to be.
He's just had a sip of margarita.
Can you tell I don't drink much? Holy Jesus.
It's just a margarita, mate.
Right, mate.
Holy crap. Can we edit that part out?
A little bit of tequila.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah, so that's straight tequila. There's no goddamn.
Mate, that is,
I'm going to show that
that's
clip to
tasty.
Wayne.
What's that? Don't show me away. He scares me enough as it is.
mate,
So yeah,
listen.
anyway, so like obviously at like 15, 16, you're not obviously like you think you're invincible when you're that age, like, and especially I was pretty good gymnast. So like I even thought I was more fucking invincible.
Yeah.
Like I could do some crazy shit. And so I figured that I'd be able to bounce back from this. And the doctor's advice was like, look, if you have another accident like this, there is a very high chance that you are going to, be paralyzed. And so it was basically just like, it's really like, I can't tell you not to do it. It's, it's your choice. But obviously like, my mum was there with me obviously. And
15 years of age, you might like if I being a dad, if my
my dad wasn't there.
but like me
yeah.
having a daughter, like if that happened to them, I'd be like,
Fuck no.
whoa. Well, we're doing
Yeah.
Something else. We're
What's
going to
that
find a new
fucking
sport.
Sweepy sport? What's the broom sport? You like just pen to a first broom. It's like,
yeah,
get
we're
going.
like, yeah, we're doing something else.
We're doing something else.
Chess.
Yeah, cornhole game. They have world championships for that shit.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's
So
on
what-
like ESPN Plus or some crap. Yeah, they do.
Spare time?
Yeah, maybe. This diving thing doesn't
between
work out for
gaming.
me. I'm like, get my shoulder ready. And so, but I think also like, again, I can't comment because I'm not a parent, but my mum has been there with me like from day one. So like she has seen the time and dedication I put into this.
Yeah.
And I think for her, it was really difficult to see me. Not difficult. It might have just been hard to see me so optimistic. Like, no, like I can do this kind of thing. Like this is my dream. This is what I've wanted to do for, 10 plus years now. This is something that I've like dedicated my life to, like sacrificing, like weekends with friends, social events. I didn't know that when I was growing up. Like I first heard of my friends going out, like gathering together on weekends when I was 16. I was like, you guys hang out on the weekends? Like
someone invite me?
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, you guys actually do that? And I was like, so just like oblivious and like fucking 26, can't even, handle my margarita. So that's evidence in itself. And so, so I said to mum, like, I can do this, like, doc, like what do I have to do rehabilitation wise to get back to sports? So it was about 5 months, going through that, like swimming, a lot of, what's the Pilates?
Yep.
Like a lot of Pilates. And hopefully like that was just going to give me all the strong core muscles around my back to like really support it.
Yeah.
So I went back, tried to like, do all the fucking maneuvering that's required for gymnastics, but it's such a taxing sport on your body. Like maybe I'm biased, but to me, like that's one of the hardest sports. Like when I look at like sports, like
5 months is a long time to be out of, like you lose conditioning, obviously. Like
yeah, you do. But I mean, like I said, like I was doing swimming, like, whatever the doc told me, I would like do extra. Pilates, like if I had to do it 3 times, like I try and do it 5 times. Like I was such an active kid that like I wanted to do as much rehab, like without obviously like, kind of reducing the benefits that I was getting. And so, I went back and I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I was trying to do all the fucking skills and my back just couldn't handle it. And so I had a friend that was a diver, Ethan Warren, and he went to the London Olympics.
Yep.
And he had just gone to the 2010 Commonwealth Games. And so like diving and gymnastics are in the same facility up in Brisbane. And so like I had some diving friends that...
it's a bit of cross-pollination there, obviously, hanging out with them. All that kind
absolutely.
Of stuff,
And because like the skill set is so similar, the transfer was really easy for me. I picked up like super quick.
Yeah.
And so because I was at that really high level, so I started diving from when I was about...
saw you swimming laps and was like, hey, come jump off here.
I was just like, fuck, I could do that. And you get up there and you're like, I'll go back to swimming. Where's my kickboard? That Mr. Bean. You seen that Mr. Bean video?
Yeah.
You're just like, on the rail, like, Mom, ready, come at me. So then started diving when I was 17.
17 and just made the transition.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, 16.
Was it like all right, this gymnastic things is like hard out, like I'm not coming back from this, or is like I'm actually enjoying diving more now that I've tried this out, or like how was it that time?
No, it was
bit smoother that time?
Yeah, no, sorry.
Did it feel like it was like, all right, I can't, my body won't turn, my body won't do the things I need it to do in gymnastics? Or like you went, oh, I'm kind of enjoying this diving thing a little bit more, I'm going to go this way? Or
yeah. So
coach was like, fuck, mate, you're done. Like was...
Yeah, that honestly, that was probably one of the hardest conversations I ever had to have with my gymnastics coach, because like any athlete knows, like you're essentially like growing up with your coach, like that becomes a parent. Like they're raising you and like molding you into this person that you will become in the future.
Yeah.
You're spending 7+ hours with them a day. And I was so fortunate to have my gymnastics coach, Sergey Chinka, who like could be scary, but sweetest man I've ever known, and had fucking bare hands, like the world's biggest hands. Like I shit you not, I saw him one day come out of like the office with an apple and just like fucking snap that thing. no knife, nothing.
Snap
just
the apple
went, like,
in half.
Like, and with these, I was just like, oh Jesus. And so like, and when you shake his hand, it's like shaking like a baseball mitt. Like right. I don't know why I remember that. Anyway, it's just one thing you remember. And so he was such an amazing man to have kind of like guide me as I was becoming the athlete I was and just teaching me all these really valuable traits and skills that I can use, in any situation in life kind of thing. And yeah, so I had to sit down and have the conversation with him, like, I can't do this anymore. Like my back, unfortunately, like my body is just, given up on me. It's tough too when your mind, it just wants to keep going. And like athletes know this, and your body's just saying like, nah, like you can't do this anymore. And especially when I was, 16, like it was really shattering because I thought, this is it for me. Like, I enjoyed school, but, sports is where I really, flourished.
I had like similar kind of, not to that level, but like, I like used to surf and I was doing like comps and those kind of things. You get to a point in your life where you're like, fuck, imagine if I make it
exactly.
pro or whatever it is. And like a 16 is kind of like that age where it's like the defining factor of like everyone's like, you can get to a point where, there's a couple of outstanders, but everyone's kind of, the general group's at a level. And then you start to see once they hit puberty and all the other things, you start to see the people really excel. Like the people that are, naturally gifted, that do the training and do all the hard work, just start to go like become miles in front of, and they're the ones that go on to be pro sports people a lot of the time. No matter how much hard work or dedication, it's just like it feels like at an age it kind of comes along and goes, you're the chosen one, or you are that good that you become the person in your sport.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. I definitely I obviously believe that definitely to a degree. I always kind of looked at myself as like, I was obviously, don't get me wrong, like I, was talented, and I'm, very thankful for that. But like I had a lot of people like come beside me that were way more talented than me. Like in terms of like learning a new skill, like they pick it up in a minute, and I'm spending a week trying to figure this skill out. So I knew from like a young age that I was going to have to like work harder. And that's like, any success athlete, like Tom Brady is the perfect fucking example of just like, if you want something enough and like
hard enough.
And like you really work for it. And like, he's like that just top echelon kind of level of athlete. That's just, so many more people are way more talented than him kind of thing. And like, he's just, will not quit in terms of like achieving his goal kind of thing. So it was, it was like, definitely.
And kind of shatter, like for you would have been shattering as well. Like knowing that you got to 16, you're like, fuck, I've just put all this hard work in.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to make this, I'm making this massive decision of going from gymnast that I put all this hard work into, but my body's just not allowing me to do it. Yeah. And I'm going to go into another sport. And I'm going to give this a go. And this is where I'm going.
Yeah. And like you would know too, it's like, you, whatever thing you're looking to kind of go into after your sporting career, you're like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Like, will I have the skills and tools to be able to like make this, my next main goal kind of thing. And so going into diving, I was confident enough that it was going to work out. But again, like it was tough. It was a tough decision. Like my mom, like I said, had put in so much time into it. And it was really like, it was tough to her to see that because
parents spend so much money on sporting, and they drop everything for their
kids,
to do that sport. Drop offs, pickups, equipment costs money, training costs money. Like a lot of those things, like there is help out there, and there is like sponsorships and all those kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it still costs money.
Yeah. Like how much time do we have on this podcast?
It's like it goes for like an hour and a half.
So
like
perfect. So like I was just making sure like this story, like it always gets me, and like it just shows like the degree of which parents are willing to go for their kids. So like when my mum and like myself first moved up, like my family, we don't come from a lot of money kind of things, and we had this old fucking shitty van, like this Nissan van, and it broke down, I think like the start of winter. Like the very start of winter, it broke down, and like we didn't have enough money to get a new car. And so we had moved to Brisbane. My mum was like, look, like, I'm so sorry, but like getting you to school, then to training, then back to school, back to training, back home, like it's going to be really difficult. I think you might just have to choose one because it'll be too much for you kind of thing. And she's like, you're just going to have to choose, like, we're going to have to just get you to school and back. Like, you're not going to be able to kind of train.
Yeah.
And I said to her, like, I was 9 years old. Like, I don't remember having this conversation, but my mum, like,
helps me remembers it.
Yeah, helps me remember it. And I just said to her, I was like, no, like, I can do it. Like, and she's like, you really, like, you're going to have to get up at 4, We're going to have to like, walk 2Ks to the train. We're going to have to catch a train to like the main bus depot. We're going to have to get the bus like all the way to, it was like right outside the shooting center near Chandler.
Yep.
And then we're going to have to walk 2Ks to training just to get to morning training by 6:30.
Yeah.
You'll train till 8. And then we're going to have to walk all the way back. You're going to get the bus like over to Carindale, which wasn't too far to school. You're going to do school. I'm going to meet you there. We're going to get back on the bus to Chandler, walk the 2K. You're going to train till 7:30. Then we're going to catch the bus to the main depot. Then we're going to catch that bus, I think, then went like more directly to where we were living.
Yeah.
And then we're going to like walk another K and a half. And she's like, you're going to have to do your schoolwork on the bus. Like, you're going to have to make sure that like, I don't want to hear any complaining in the morning, like that you're tired or that you don't want to go. And she said, like, I can make this work for you, but like, you've got to, you got to dedicate
If we're going
yourself
to do this, we're doing it.
Yeah. She's like, you got to really want this. And like 9 years old, I was like, yeah, fuck, like, absolutely. And like, man, like for her to do that for me, like still like gives me goosebumps just talking about it. Cause like that, I think was the pivotal moment in my career that really set kind of like set the catalyst for my like really hardworking mentality and dedication to the craft and everything, because I didn't want to let mum down.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let my coaches down, and like I wanted to do good in school. And so like that was fucking tough. And that was through winter. Like, it was shit. I mean, we don't live in Melbourne, but still it was cold. And yeah.
And you're 9 years old.
And I'm 9 years old. Yeah. So I really think like that was like if my mum didn't do that for me, like
shout out to your mum, mate. Like that's insane.
Yeah. My mum doesn't drink, but cheers, mum. She drinks V. Tell her to quit.
V?
Yeah, V, man.
Like the small, like the energy drink.
The energy drink. I'm like, who drinks that shit still? And she's not like
have a margarita.
Yeah, I'm just like, you gotta stop drinking V.
That's crazy,
so,
man.
Yeah, so like she, definitely put me to where I am today.
She definitely instilled something.
Absolutely. And I think like that's where I get a lot of my traits from, because she is just a woman that if there's like something, like she'll just find a way. Like I never hear like a peep out of her, like complain. Like, man, mothers are amazing kind of thing.
They are.
I don't want to cry, but yeah, it's real. Like every time I reflect on it, like I'm just so thankful to.
Hey, mums give up everything for their kids. They
really do,
will.
man. They really do.
On that note, we're going to see how quick you can make a margarita.
While I'm an emotional wreck.
We're going to give you. We're going to give, mate. That story is insane. Like it's
I just love telling that story, because like any time that I can show appreciation to my mum on any level, like I absolutely want to do it, because like any athlete, and you would know this, like it's not just us when we're standing up there, it's like all the people behind us that helped us get to that moment.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing. It's like it takes a village kind of thing, that old cliche.
Yeah.
And it truly does. Like there's so many amazing people that stand behind every great athlete. And so
absolutely.
Like, anytime I can get a chance to.
Shout out to mum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell that story.
Yeah.
Well, mate, let's make a margarita. Let's see how quick you can go. Anyone on the board you want to beat?
Time?
41
seconds.
seconds.
I want to be 41.
41 seconds. Don't go there,
20.
man.
Let me give you the whole. Well, I'll walk you through it, but the whole idea is to see how fast you can actually make a cocktail, because typically at a bar it takes a fair bit of time to get a cocktail. Yeah. All right, we'll get this set up and we'll come back. No, mate, we're gonna make mess. We're gonna see how fast you can go.
I'm also
you just called yourself Mr. Clutch.
I'm also really like conscious of not making a mess as well. I think that's like my OCD.
Like not
Like I spilled ice and I was looking at Tommy like, oh fuck.
Is your house like you cook and like you just wipe everything's
I want to say I do, but when my partner watches this, she'll be like, "You're so full of shit."
You lies.
But like if I'm cleaning something, like anyway.
All right, we're gonna see how fast you can go. How you feeling?
Super nervous.
You've watched a couple of other ones, haven't you?
Yeah. I was like preparing. I was like, what did this person do wrong? What did this person do right? I just don't want to be number 20.
Well, I'm number 1.
I would
so
there it is. Took him a bit.
Yeah, I feel like there's a pattern, because top 3 are co-founders.
Yeah,
there's
but
a trend.
The worst part for them is that I'm the guy that's never worked in a bar.
Oh, fuck, how good.
They're guys that have owned and run bars for their whole life.
So good.
So
pressure, that's why they probably were expectations.
I was very
calm.
I was very calm and tactical, and I thought about it. I gave you the tips on the ice, and I gave you the tip on straining and fruiting at the same time.
It's all about the multitask.
Because I'm not giving you the number 1 spot. You got enough number one spots. You need more. All right. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, go.
So can I not touch them until you say
No, don't touch shit.
Yeah.
Hands on the bench.
Just,
All right,
just
stopwatch.
trying to find the line.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Is that a false start? All the way to the top. Pour, go, drop.
Tip.
Bang. Tequila.
Oh,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
That was what I was afraid of.
Don't worry about it. Second line down. Bang. Ice. Shake. 4, 5. Get it off.
No.
Get it off. Get it off. Hey, hammer it. There you go. Strain it on and you got to fruit it. Oh,
Fumbles.
oh my goodness. This is a good time. 26.
No.
24.
What is it? 26, 24? That's good.
26, 24.
7th overall.
Honestly, you lost 2 seconds in the not grabbing the strain in the right spot. But that, mate, that's a good
I
time.
lost a second worrying about the goddamn.
26, 24. Don't worry about the
Bottle.
bottle falling over. Mate, I'm impressed. There you go. How's it taste?
Oh, yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Where do you end up? Where do you end up?
7th. Not bad.
7.
I'll take that.
That's good.
How many people are on the board now?
20. That's 20 now. All up 20. Coco's still last. Poor thing.
Coco
was
on the
our first,
episode.
Did you do it?
No, I did it one day. What did I do that day?
I think you ended up
20.
like second or third or something.
Yeah, I was like, I think I was just after Belzy.
How come you
21 seconds I was. I haven't been on the podcast. I'm not important enough.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, Tommy's.
I'm behind the scenes.
Tom does behind the
Really
scenes.
naughty duo.
Hey, just so
You can hire
missus
me as your
knows,
coach.
26, 24.
Okay, I need to go.
She wants
win.
she wants cocktails that fast from now on.
No, don't post that. Should be asking me to make cocktails all the time. I need to go win a gold
30
medal
second-
so I can come back.
30.
Number one spot.
All right, let's clean this up. We'll get back into it.
Absolutely.
I want to go a little bit more into this diving thing because you're fucking good at it.
I'm all right at it.
Hey, you've told your coach, look, gymnastics isn't working out. I want it. Like, I'm going to give this diving thing a go. The transition from giving diving a go to going to the Rio Olympics was what, like a space of like 2-3 years or something like that?
So from the time I started diving, it was about coming up to 4 years.
Yeah.
So just before I went to Rio, the moment I kind of realized like this had worked, this
Yeah.
plan, was I made the 2014 Commonwealth Games team
Yep.
in Glasgow. And I was really fortunate enough to get paired with Matthew Mitchum, who he won gold in Beijing on the 10-meter platform.
Yep.
And so that was like a dream come true kind of thing for me. This was my first, real big comp that I'd ever been selected for. And my parents were really fortunate enough to, save money and get over there. So we ended up winning gold in the synchro event on the 10-meter. And like that was an incredible experience itself, just like to experience the games. And so that was the first time that, I realized that, this was on the right track.
The change had been worth it.
Been worth, exactly. Like all the hard, like you said, the hard conversations with coach and mum and that. It was finally like seeing all that hard work, especially in gymnastics too, I guess, because it's like because I could progress so quickly, it was like all I had to do with my gymnastics background. So it wasn't as if that was wasted. Like
none of that. It doesn't feel like it. Very similar sports.
Very similar sports. So like that's why I was able to transition like real quickly into it. So it was like an amazing thing to be able to achieve that so early on in my career and to have my parents there watching, especially like my dad's a Kiwi. So like, when it's World Cup time in the Union, like fucking hates Australia.
Yeah.
But like, that man was standing up when the national anthem was, coming on. So I was like, damn, that means
That's
a
pretty
lot.
cool.
Yeah. I was like, that means a lot to see kind of thing. So yeah.
And then from there, Olympics.
Yeah,
Or,
Olympics.
Like was Olympics is like 2 years after
2 years,
Commonwealth
yeah.
Games?
2 years gap in between. So for Aussies, it's really cool because like we have these, we only have these 2 year gaps between major events kind of thing. And so, then the Olympics came around and I was, the Rio Olympics was like a really mixed emotions for me because like I had gotten to the point where I think, like, I mean, I can't speak for every athlete, but like I know some athletes have felt like this, like you go into this Olympics and you think like, if I can do something special here, like it's going to change my whole life.
Yeah.
Like it's that mentality and looking back on it, it's like it's really dark because like I became a real prick and an asshole to like everyone I was training with. Like I would just go in there like fucking hoodie on, earphones on, like didn't want to talk to anyone, like didn't want to like, you know, interact with anyone, like just wanted to train as hard as I could, go home and like recover. So it was
Just in the zone.
in the zone and like in the zone in a bad way. I like reflecting on it now, I was like in the zone in a bad way. And it was like 2016, there was like talks of having sports psychs.
Yep.
And I like had this like really young mentality. I was only 21.
Super young.
So super young, super naive. And I was like, had this mentality of like, nah, you know, if you talk to a psychologist, like that means you're weak kind of thing. Like there's something wrong with you. And so like, I just thought, you know, I can do this all on my own kind of thing. Anyway, like the experience itself, like, you know, making the team, I look back on it and I'm like, I was so just like, yep, like job done, like, you know, next job kind of thing. Didn't really take time to enjoy it as much as I wanted to.
Celebrate the win that you'd actually had.
Exactly, yeah. Mum was stoked and I was just like, yeah, like why are you so happy? Like job's not done.
This is where, I got still got the games to go.
Yeah,
like.
Still got the games to go. Yeah. So, and then, you know, the games itself like is a pretty crazy experience. And Rio was like, as much as, I don't know, a lot of people will always ask me like, oh, is Rio's as bad as they're saying on media? Like, it wasn't as, it was really cool experience. Like, I feel like any games, like I've only been to one, but, you know, Commonwealth Games of that scale, it's an amazing experience. I guess like the only bad experience I had there was like the plumbing was real bad. And so like.
Oh, this was like the athlete village.
This
was
the
athlete village was like real ghetto, eh?
It wasn't as, like I said, it wasn't as bad as
They
like
made it out
what
to
the
be.
media were portraying it. Yeah. So like, I remember as we were like landing, we were reading all these articles like Swimming Australia's pulling their athletes out of it. Like it's, you know, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And there was like shit like streaming down the walls. So the room above would flush their toilet and the plumbing was fucking shocking. That's what was really bad about it.
Right.
And so like the sewer crap or whatever, like would leak out the pipe and then come down your wall. So you'd just be like sitting there eating breakfast and you'd be like,
oh, upstairs in a poo.
Yeah, just like move to the side kind of thing. And so the village like organizers was like, okay guys, like, so the plumbing's pretty weak. We're just gonna have to ask you to like not flush toilet paper. So like you're just gonna put your toilet paper in the bin next to you and we'll come and collect it at the end of the day. And we're just like, are you fucking serious? Like, just like, yeah, shitty covered toilet paper just like sitting next to you. And you know, by God, if there's like a fucking hot chili day in the food hall, like Jesus Christ,
Everyone's had a bit too much like pre-workout or something.
Yeah, you could tell. You're like, oh, you went down like the fucking like Middle Eastern section, didn't you today? Kind of thing, just like the hot foods, and like it was.
It is a third world country.
Brazil, yeah, it is.
Like it's a beautiful country. Like don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't imagine like when you're sending athletes from Australia where our building standards and things are a lot different to what requirements, you can understand why Australian swimming team is pulling their athletes when the shit's running down the walls.
Yeah, I know.
It's very uncommon for that to ever happen in Australia.
Like, red flag.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we should do something. Yeah, like definitely. And like you do feel bad because like you saw so many photos after of the stadiums like just abandoned.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And like they were beautiful stadiums. Like I really enjoyed my time there. Like the village was amazing. They had like, so like each country has like your own block. And if you're a country big enough like Australia, you have the entire block to yourself.
Yeah.
And this thing has like downstairs, there's like a little hub area where you can all hang out. There's like a little like cafe kind of thing, like a little food area. And they like always put on kind of like games and stuff that you can do. And they had like a pool in Rio.
Kind of sounds like school camp.
It was like school camp, except like there was like a lot of fucking going on.
Yeah, that's what I've heard
at school camp.
But I've heard that where they just like there's just like condoms on the table or something.
Oh, 100%. The funniest thing about
you've got a bunch of highly like strung people.
Some of the most attractive people, like some of the most attractive people you've ever seen, like in the best like physical shape of their lives.
Couple of
like,
espressos.
You're gonna tell me, oh, thanks, naughty.
Let's go.
These look extra naughty. Oh, sorry, mate. Naughty.
Can you take that one and drink it? I'll drink this espresso.
Yeah.
Double down too hard.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
So like of course they're gonna fuck. And it's so funny because like you Like you think like, like I'm an all right looking guy. And then you see like the fucking Italian water polo team. You're like, I don't know, Giorgio Armani's doing a shoot today. Like all like 6'4", like beautiful, like black slick hair, like tan. You're like, fuckers. And like, you're just like, and every like every girl is just kind of, well, that's like interested. It's just like, oh my God, like, and you're like, nah, fuck, I'm like 4 foot tall.
Yeah.
And you're just like, like no one's wanting me here anyway.
Is that when you pulled your back breaking video out and you said, hey, I would have been 6 foot, but this happened?
I wish.
The meme.
The meme, yeah, absolutely.
I would have been 6 foot if I didn't break my back.
Oh, I should have put that in my profile when I was like single. But yeah, so like there was these condom machines. I know in Tokyo like they got given the box so that people couldn't touch it. But in Rio, it was in the food hall and it was like one of those like gumball machines. So you turn it to get it. And I don't know if they did this on purpose or if it was just a shitty machine, but it was fucking loud. Like it was like click, click, like real loud. So like you could tell when someone was getting one. And like I'm talking like the whole food hall, like thousands of people like eating, you just hear it and you're like, and like you start clapping for people and stuff like as they're getting them out. And like the people like trying to get out as quick as they can and like run away and stuff. And
it dead set sounds like an adult school camp.
Yeah. And like you're watching some people getting out, you're like, you're not going to need that though, are you? I'm just
judging a book by its cover.
I know. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, but yeah, so like that was a pretty funny experience. But like the Olympics itself, like is an incredible experience. It's really hard to kind of compare it to anything else that I've experienced. The unfortunate thing though with my event is it's on the second last day of the whole games. So I went in there, you go in a couple of days before to get used to the environment, get used to where you're going to be competing, et cetera, the food. And because my event is like 2 weeks away.
Because you don't turn up at the very start of the game.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, shit. So you got to sit around for 2 weeks.
So that's what I mean. And like in diving, it goes for the whole 2 weeks. So you rock up at the start as a team, like you go through the introduction with the chef de mission and everything. And then, the game, like you do the opening ceremony and the games begin kind of thing. And so I was, at the second last day, which is like, it's really tough because you're watching people and like you're really close friends. Like one of my closest friends in diving, she won a bronze on the second day. She was done. So she had 2 weeks to just get like as fucked up as she wanted to kind of thing.
Just clicking the gumball machine.
No. She's a good girl. No, but she's like, how dare you? No.
But that's like, 3 weeks
to do whatever you want.
To party and do what you want. That's what happens.
Yeah, and countries have celebration houses. So I forget which country had the Heineken house. Where does Heineken come from?
It's Germany or something, isn't it?
Is it Germany?
I don't know.
Okay,
can we get a Google on that one, Kirsten?
It was whatever. Jamie, pull that up. Get that reference? No? Okay.
Joe?
Yeah. Joe Rogan. So countries will have like celebration houses, and for like when they're athletes, when they win gold, it's like a mass celebration.
I remember like Oakley even had like there's companies that have houses and stuff, don't they?
Amsterdam, Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands. Yeah, it was. I was like, I don't think it was Germany, but Netherlands house. They had like a Heineken house, and so like there was like all these parties going on, and because people, winning gold medals, like you would just go like I didn't. I just heard the stories, which is like that's the shittest thing. It's like I'm just like recycling everyone's awesome stories kind of thing. And so, like it's an amazing experience. And you get to like, you leave. So because my event was so far away, we left to go somewhere else and you do a little mini camp there. Yeah. And then you come back into the village and then I did my event. And the event.
Then the Heineken house is all wound up.
Yeah, the Heineken house is shutting down. I'm like, oh, okay. You open? Oh, okay, I'll come back. And so, I did my event, made it through to the finals, which, it was like an amazing achievement looking back on it. Like I was really proud to be able to make it to the event because you start from 38 or something in the preliminaries. And that's a long process. That's like, 3.5 hours. You're doing a dive every 30 minutes. Yep. So like you have 6 dives in diving. Yep. You do your dive, you wait in the back. Everyone else goes, you warm up before, like maybe 10 people before. Yeah. And then you go back out kind of thing.
Do your thing.
Yeah, you do your thing. So like the prelim's probably the hardest part of diving. Getting through that's like really grueling because like you have to be mentally switched on for 3.5. Like, I mean, like you have to switch on and switch off, at the drop of a hat kind of thing. And like you're doing that for 3.5 hours. So you're getting in the zone kind of thing. You do your dive and then you just got to get out of that headspace really quickly to kind of, and especially if you do a shit one And I did, so I think it was my fourth one. I did a terrible one. And I thought, like, that's my Olympics. Like, I'm done. And
were you doing synchro then or just by yourself?
Just by myself. Yeah, just by myself then. And so, unfortunately, we didn't get a synchro team into the 2016 Olympics. And so, I was just there by myself. And, I did, like, a really bad fourth dive. And I was, like, pacing in the back where, like, all the athletes are. And, like, there's just – it's funny to see, like, behind the scenes because there's just, like, it's a room of emotions. Like, you can see who's – doing well, you can see who's not doing as well as they want to.
They don't show any of that stuff. Like you can just imagine, like somebody has a shit dive, like they kind of show, like reference to surfing again, but like they kind of show a little bit of that. Like when an athlete has a shit heat or whatever it is, they walk out and they jump on their board or they snap their board or like they throw they throw tantrums and stuff. Like
and they don't show that.
They show it.
Oh, they do show
it.
Yeah,
they do show it.
Yeah.
Like, and I can imagine the same, like a similar thing of like. You have a shit time, you mentally, your headspace just completely changes and you go into a hole where you don't want to be for your next dive and that's all you're thinking about until the next one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it'd be cool to kind of see behind the scenes of every sport. It'd be hilarious. And John's like, oh baby.
I'd love to see.
That would be like the best blooper reel or something. They could make like a whole second Olympics of just like everyone's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so, I was just like pacing back and forth. I was like, fuck, my Olympics is done. I was like, all this work is gone. I'm like, this is fucking shit. And like a good friend of mine who's like very experienced diver, he was just like, oi, like, just like be in the moment, like, just forget about it kind of thing. Because like I said before, like I thought I knew everything. Because I was so young and naive, like I knew shit, I knew nothing. Yeah, but I thought I did at the time. And anyway, like made the semis, that was amazing. And then made it to the finals. And like the finals is the easiest part because like you've made it. And like I'm sure you know this about the surfing. Like once you get to the finals, you're like, man, like I got nothing to lose here. You can cut loose. Yeah. I'm sure you've like experienced that.
When you just get like to that point where you're just like let's go. Like we've got here, we've done all the hard work. We're in the point. This is the fun part.
Exactly. And that's what it should be. It should be fun. And like for me, like I said before, I was just in this mindset of like, if I can do something special here, like my whole life's going to change. Like, this is the moment, like do not fuck this up, like kind of thing. And so like, the walkout was, I don't remember the walkout because I had my headphones in.
Yeah.
The competition, couldn't tell you like kind of what happened. All I could tell you was like I was crying in the back after my last dive. I did a good one, but like I didn't have my best comp. And I honestly just remember like crying in the back, like and seeing mum and dad and crying, just being like, I fucked this up so bad. And it's like, it's tough because like, again, you just think that like you can't express kind of like, what you're feeling and you just think you need to suck it up, move on, like go on to the next thing. So like I said, the Rio like Olympics experience for me was like amazing in the sense that I got to experience it, but the competition side of it, I look back and just think like, man, like, I should have done so many things like different that time kind of thing. Or like the next time kind of thing.
No regrets.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. I'm glad it happened because I wouldn't have then done everything I did for the next, like for the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
So like, I'm glad it happened. But like I said, I look back in that mentality, I'm like, oh man, like, like so naive.
And
such a dickhead.
You obviously went from not having your best comp ever to winning a gold at the Commonwealth Games. The Commonwealth Games were here, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you won a gold.
Yeah. Oh, that is tasty.
It's good, isn't it?
That is really good. I'm not even like trying to sell that either. That's real good. I've had some shit espresso martinis.
Hey, we waited for it took us
good.
4 or 5.5 months, 6 months to get that right. And it's banging.
Yeah, you can tell. That's like really good, man. That's craftsmanship right there. Shout out to Jeremy and Mikey.
Mate, the production team, mate, that made that happen.
Yeah. So the Gold Coast at Commonwealth Games, that was an amazing experience. That was actually
at home too.
At home, yeah. And that was when I first met Naughty because he was working at Squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we were I think I was just like shopping with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and like we walked into this store. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like, this is sick. And then I started talking to Tommy a bit. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're a local brand. I was like, oh, yeah, like, I'm looking to, have like some type of clothing thing, blah, blah. Anyway, that's how he and I met. Fun little
Did you get the sponsorship?
Yeah, they were awesome, man. Squad, like they gave me like heaps of gear and shit. And then like I went and did a little promote. Oh, it was like after the Commonwealth Games, like we had like a little promotion day.
Yeah,
like
a few of the runners and swimmers came in.
Yeah. James Roberts and that came in. He's a swimmer.
Yep.
And yeah, it was really good. But yeah, it was like small world, eh?
What did you change?
Such good friends,
mate. What did you change in your mind? Like, what was the major change from what you took away from Rio to then turning around and being able to win a gold medal?
Yeah, it was so like we had a new coach come in from Great Britain, and he kind of sat me down after in 2016. Yeah, so like I just coming back from my like time off from Rio. Yeah, and we had a sit down, and he was just like, all right, I'm going to be straight with you. Like, you know, you're a bad athlete. And I was like, who the fuck's this guy? Like he to be fair, he had just like won a gold medal with his team in Rio.
Yeah.
But I was just like, what do you mean I'm a bad athlete? Like, I fucking work harder here than anyone else. And he's just like, nutrition, do you see nutritionists? And I was like, no. And he's like, do you see sports psych? I'm like, no. And he's like, there you go. And he's like, how well do you work with the S&C? I was like, kind of good. And like as he was talking, I was just realizing like there's all these outlets that like I'm not pulling on.
Yep.
Because I was so close-minded. And so like I think the biggest thing in like my shift, you know, the sports nutrition was like really important. But it was like the sports psychology side of it was like honestly like made me just like that better of a diver. And so like Gemma is just like an amazing, she's still my sports psych to this day. Like she really like opened my eyes up to, you know, things like gratitude, being in the moment, seeing the positives and everything, like things that you like as we round off now, like you think like, yeah, that's like a no-brainer. But it really takes like a lot of skill and training to be able to actually like pull on these specific, I guess like specific tools, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're things you really have to work hard at.
Being able to take away learnings from things like you, most people are like, oh, I fucked up. And then they just move on. But why, like looking back and be like, why did I fuck up? Why did that happen to me? And then learn from it and then be able to better yourself from
that experience,
those experiences.
100%.
And I've always treated life that way. Like if I do something and I fuck up, or I do something and it doesn't go the right way or whatever happens, I've experienced that. And if I experience it again, I'll then know how to navigate it. Yeah. Or once I've experienced it, I probably won't experience it again because I didn't have to navigate it. I knew how to avoid it or whatever it was with confrontation or, like even here, like there's just so many things like people's emotions and like you start to learn how to navigate all those things. And once you learn if you learn from your mistakes or you learn from the things that you experience and sit down and actually like step back and go, fuck, holy shit, if I had done this, and next time when that problem comes, I'm going to handle it like this. Like that for me they're all the things that I learned. Like that's what I need to learn. And that's what I love learning about is once I've experienced it, done. Move on. Did
you like have all those skills as you came into Mr. Consistent, or did you like kind of start this and obviously dealing with, you know, the amount of people you're dealing with, you're like, oh, okay. Like,
I think I said this conversation comes up very often with my business partners and my wife. My wife's our general manager, but me and her have this relationship where like we talk about everything, like we debrief on everything. And she has a very different outlook on life to the way I outlook on life.
Okay, yeah.
And I can bounce things off her and she'll tell me straight, like, you're being an idiot, don't worry about it, you're worrying about nothing. Or I think you should do this, or this is how you should handle it. And she's run, her and Jeremy and Mikey, for that matter, they've all had teams under them, and I've worked for myself for a long period of time. So the part that I struggle with most was navigating staff and emotions and people and all those kind of things. And I've relied on them really heavily to help me through that. But when I had not a problem or like a confrontation with somebody or even a supplier, or I'm selling something to somebody for this business, I would always go back to them and talk through it, and they'd be like, oh, but why didn't you say this? Or you could have gone this route or whatever it is. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't think about it like that.
God damn it.
You're right.
Let me get back on
but
the phone.
like that, they all do the same sort of thing. But me and Chris, we've been together 15 years almost, married 5. But like she's a person that I kind of rely on for that information. I feel like I do that for her, I hope. Maybe. she might have a different opinion.
I'm sure you do.
But I rely on Jeremy and Mikey and her for those kind of things. And other people's opinions of how they navigate things, I just know I'm not. If I'm the smartest person in the room, there's a problem with the room. That's me.
Good. Yeah, that's a good outlook.
Like there's definitely and there's people that are specialists in things and are really good at things, and I feel like I can always learn from them versus I know I'm not always going to be right. There's certain things that I'm really good at brand. I'm really good at reading customers. I'm really good at strengths. I have got my strengths, but then I rely on other people's strengths to help me in those positions.
Yeah, I think like that's a great way to put it. It's like you can get locked in that mentality of like, and like I said, I was in like, I don't need these other outlets to further better my career. Like I'll figure it out on the fly.
Yeah.
And I think soon as people open up to the idea of, hey, you know, this person can bring so much to your life. This person can teach you, like you said, like with your wife, like how best to manage your staff. Man, like the fucking possibilities that open up for people is like amazing kind of thing. And like
your tunnel vision goes from there to perspective of a really wide perspective.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened between Rio and Commonwealth Games. Like Rio was just like that, and then Commonwealth Games was just like, oh shit.
Just
like,
opened up.
Yeah, I was like, this is incredible. Like, holy, why haven't I been doing it like this the whole time? You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, you have to, like you said before, like no regrets. Like you have to go through that shit in order to actually see where you've gone wrong, and then kind of, look at like, hey, like how can I kind of take the blinders off and, you know, enjoy like the full spectrum of this moment kind of thing. And so Commonwealth Games was incredible, man. Like to be able to do it in a hometown, not many athletes get that opportunity. I'm jealous, like so jealous of this younger generation that they get the Brisbane Olympics.
Cool, yeah, it's really cool.
You guys will probably be the power rank. Some kid before a dive just like shaking up an espresso martini.
We're definitely going to be the Heineken house.
Yeah, oh, dude.
There's going to be the Mr. Consistent Party House.
On that, man. Oh my God, I'll try and sneak into that.
Mr. Consistent Party House.
At the door.
What is it, 2032?
2032,
2032, you wait. Stay tuned for the Mr. Consistent Party House at the Olympics.
Just let the planning begin now. So it was like an amazing thing. And to just have like family and friends there and everything, like I said, an incredible experience and something that I think for me, that's like the highlight of my career. I'd say that's like the highlight of my career.
So damn cool.
Just because, like, and to, you know, to be there, to everyone that I, you know, really cared about was there that night that I won gold. And it was an amazing experience. It was a funny competition though, because like, again, it's like, I almost slipped into that really like narrow perfectionist mentality. And I almost didn't enjoy the win.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like any athlete will like tell you, I guess, and like maybe Kenny can touch on this, but like when you're going into a comp, you kind of envision how it's going to play out. At some point, I feel like you're going to envision like this is how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I envisioned it like me just like blitzing the comp. I was just like, this is like the fittest I've ever been. This is the best I've ever been. Like, I had just like that real like fucking like, you know, dog mentality of like, you know, no one's kind of, you know,
I've got it in the bag.
Yeah, kind of thing. And so like, and I almost lost it. And like before the last dive, I stupidly looked at the scoreboard, which like in my competition routine, I never do because like I don't want the scores to affect my like mentality.
Yeah.
I just want to focus like, you know, I know how to do like what I've got to do, like just focus on that. I don't want to worry about, I got to do it like this so that I can get this many points.
Most athletes have a routine, Like they've just got this routine that they roll through. You see it in football where the kickers take a certain amount of steps, left, right, whatever it is. Every athlite,
did you have a routine?
I didn't get. I
didn't have one. When I didn't get that good.
I tried a bunch out, none worked. That's why I'm sitting here.
Travis, tears just dropping down.
I tried all kinds of music, mate. I tried everything. Nothing worked.
We're in the same underwear.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Do you have any superstitions? No. I had one.
I had none.
None?
No.
I had to have peaches.
Peaches?
Yeah, peach. Like, and when we would go to places like fucking Puerto Rico or something, or like China, I'd always take like a jar of peaches with me in my luggage.
I did have a theory that if I partied the night before, always like, because I was like hungover and way more relaxed, like I was just like, I can't be bothered doing this shit today. That's when I would have success, when I was like, literally like, there's this one, I
was about to say, when did it not work and you were like, I should probably reconsider this?
Oh, the company that I was paying for it all went bankrupt.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of brought the fun to an end.
Okay. It's one way.
Yeah. But that was the end of it.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, like, the Commonwealth Games itself was, an amazing experience.
Incredible. 2 golds there?
No, one gold there.
One gold
so
there.
I got 2 bronze there. So
Yep.
I did 2 synchro events.
Yep.
2 bronze, and then the gold.
What was
to
the gold
finish
in?
off.
What?
The
What's
10-meter individual.
and the 10 meters, the one that's just hard,
The
and you do the handstand off the edge. And
Yeah, that's actually my best dive is the handstand. So like
Really?
I start with that. So like it's very rare for people to start with the handstand because you're obviously nervous.
yeah,
Standing on your feet, you get the shakes,
Yeah.
and then to do it on your hands, like I feel like I can feel my hands shaking when I'm doing it. But I'm really confident that like I nail that one every time.
that's so cool.
So so you have like 6 dives. You usually do your 2 best ones, your 2 like really good ones first.
Yep.
And then your 3, 4, 5 are like your average ones.
Yeah.
And then your 6th one's your best one.
Yeah.
So you open really good. You hope you get that momentum to take into the next ones, and then you finish strong.
Is it an average score
It's
across the
accumulated.
board? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's accumulation. So like each different dive comes with its own degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
Pretty boring shit. I won't bore you with it. But yeah, it's handstand one I definitely love the most.
Mate, that's good. Oh, gold medal in your hometown.
It was just amazing to look up and see like brother, sister, family, and my ex-partner at the time who had been through a lot with me, and
Yeah.
her family, like everyone was there. That, like I said, like that I really loved and cared about. So like that was incredible. And like 2 of my really close friends were there too. That was sick. And then we just went out and got really fucking drunk the next
Party
that
time,
night.
eh?
I think that night we went out. Yeah, I was like, we were at what's that place in Surfers called?
only a couple-
Shooters?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Maybe? I don't know. Maybe Shooters?
Shooters or Sin City or something.
Maybe it was Sin City. It was one of those two. Yeah.
Wibey.
Yeah.
You went all out.
Yeah.
Gold Coast best.
Yeah. I was like, I should probably leave my gold medal at home.
I would have been wearing it around 100%.
No, I can't do that.
After that, how quickly do you go into like obviously training? Like you trained for Tokyo. Like you were training.
Yeah. We were
To
training.
go.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you don't have much time off. So yeah, Tokyo was we were
It was
training.
postponed as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was supposed to be in 2020, and then obviously with COVID, it was postponed. And it was a lot of obviously people like really struggle with that and like the postponement because you're ramping up for this massive event that you've worked your whole life for again. And so it was really funny because we had a lot of conversations with like different athletes, like we were just checking on each other because that like community kind of thing. And I like COVID for me was like not as bad as it was for some other people. Like, and it's unfortunate that they really struggled, but like for me, it wasn't like the worst time kind of thing. I was with my partner. We had just gotten we just bought our first place. So like we were really like kind of stoked and be able to do these things whilst the world was shut down kind of thing. And then too many gaming nights, and then fucking 9-hour gaming shifts. And so so we trained. So what we did is we were able to go get heaps of equipment from the institutes. So me and my partner, she's a diver too. She also won gold at Commonwealth Games.
There you go. What's her name?
Georgia Sheehan.
Shout out Georgia.
Yeah, she's a legend. She's really great. She is also another person that's similar to like your wife. Like I would be like such a prick if it wasn't for her like today.
Yeah,
like she's like really made me a good person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
You always need someone to bounce that stuff off.
100%. I was such a dick. And and so we went and got the equipment and we set it up in her dad's backyard, and like we just had like this little gymnasium, and like we were loving that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like I said, for us, like COVID was not the worst thing in the world. I think like some athletes too, like that had injuries, it was like a great opportunity for them to like have another year to prepare for the postponed Olympics.
Here's a question for you. How the fuck do you earn money? Like, you obviously work a job now.
I do
when
now,
when you're training for those things, most people would have no idea how athletes get by, because training and like your nutrition, all those, like you have sponsors.
You don't have time,
you don't have a lot of time to work, and nutrition and all those kind of things, if you don't have sponsors, is expensive.
Yeah, it is. So like I don't know how it works for other sports, but like diving specifically, we have this thing called DAS payments. So all sporting bodies have this. And so this is if you get, a gold medal at the benchmark event, which is like a world championships, the government gives you, I think it's like $32,000, like just like in a lump sum.
Yeah.
Second to fourth to sixth, anything.
Yeah.
So me and my synchro partner, like we got 5th in 2019.
Yeah.
So like you get paid like a lump sum.
Yeah.
The sporting organization itself also has allocated funds from the government. So each different sport has like a different budget. So
Yeah.
swimming obviously has the biggest budget
Yeah.
because they bring in so many medals.
Yeah.
I think diving, I could be really wrong on this, is like one of the second or third biggest budget.
Yeah.
Because like our return on dollar is really good. So
Yeah.
we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we only have like 6 opportunities or something.
Yeah.
And we always return a medal.
Yeah.
So how it works is like the sporting body will say to like the sports government, we will get this many medals at the next Olympics. And if you meet that quota, you get your budget back.
Yeah,
and if you
gotcha.
don't get that quota, like
Your
they'll
budget
strip
gets
you.
cut,
Your
yeah.
budget gets cut. Like kind of like what you experienced
Yeah.
in surf. And so but with diving, we also have the World Series events. And how you get qualified for that is if you get, say, top 8 at a World Championships individually,
Yep.
you get selected for that little team. And if you get top 6 in the synchro one, you get selected and you go on this, like, it's kind of like the Formula One Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And so it's like a circuit of
Yep.
competitions with prize money. So
Yep.
for a gold medal's 5,000 US,
Yep.
silver's 4,000, 3,000.
Yep.
And you have 4 to 5 comps, and then you've got overall prize money.
Gotcha.
So that's where we make the bulk of our money.
Yeah.
So like it's not like guaranteed, but if you can, like win a few medals, you get like, top third, you get third, at the end of that, you can make some coin. Like there's some divers that make some coin.
It's crazy though. Like it solely relies on you.
Your performance.
Performance. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it's hard to, I think like I have conversations with some people. It's like, oh, like, you have no idea how it's going to be when you get a job. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, imagine if you were like training for your job, and then the boss is like, all right, come in on this day. You need to get like all these tasks fucking right. You get one thing wrong, like I'm not paying you year's salary.
Yeah.
You'd be like, huh?
Yeah.
And that's what it is, man. Like you rock up, and like you're like, if I fuck up on like this day, like the next year's fucked.
My next year's salary's gone.
Exactly. And like it was tough through COVID because we didn't have the World Series. So like that's like a lot of money for us divers that make it like gone.
Yeah.
Or if you have a shit World Championships and you don't make that World Series team, like that's tough. It's like really, really hard. And that's the hardest thing with sports is like keeping younger generations on, because like there's not a whole lot of incentives to, stay in the sports kind of thing.
Kind of feels a little bit easier to make money being an influencer. Like when you start to
I don't
become,
want to shit on anyone.
yeah,
but
no,
don't get me
no.
started.
but like
Some of the TikTok guys we
but
watch.
like that's kind of like athletes now make a lot of money via endorsements because they have a platform like Instagram to actually make money off, and that's kind of how they become more famous, right? Like
100%.
versus actually winning gold medals or the performance based.
Who was
stuff.
the girl, the athletics girl that did the bounce, and she became very famous
Michelle
for it?
Jenkins or something like that.
Yeah, but she like she wasn't
funny
like
enough,
a medalist or anything.
No, I met her when I was at because I used to work at Body Science.
Oh, okay.
She came in and we did we fully took advantage of that.
The shake,
the dancing hurdle or whatever they called her. Yeah, we took full advantage of it.
That's how you should.
But like she came in, we were giving her nutrition advice and all that kind of stuff. But that's how she became popular, and that's how she got endorsements, and that's how she made money.
Yeah, 100%.
She wasn't. She didn't end up being. I don't think she ended up being an Olympic athlete or anything like
she
that.
did. She was in Rio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We were partying with her on the last night, and like my friend was so fucking drunk, and like we found a shoe in the bush, and he decided to go up to her and was like, "Excuse me, did you drop a shoe?" And I was just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Get back here."
But she
It's pretty funny,
she was like, that's how she had that other thing that made her
it
popular.
set
It wasn't.
exactly.
She became popular before she had the glory.
Yeah, I've had so many conversations with Georgia about like, she's like, you got to get on TikTok, and then I'm like, nah.
I could see you as a little dancing TikToker.
Mate,
Start licking your lips.
Little dancing TikToker.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Uninspired.
Uninspired, yeah.
Yeah, when it's like, hey, you want to come over? No. Like doing that. Oh, fuck.
Licking the
hilarious.
lips and stuff, man.
love
That's
it.
one of the funniest memes.
Yeah.
This week's episode is wrapped around International Are You OK Day. We'd like to acknowledge the importance of mental health and knowing you are never alone. Ask, listen, encourage, and always check in. It could save somebody's life. If yourself or a mate is struggling with mental health, please do not hesitate to reach out and get the help needed. Contact the team at Lifeline on 13 11 14 for 24/7 support. If you are concerned for somebody's safety or the safety of others, please seek immediate assistance and call 000. If you do want to check in with somebody but you don't know how to ask, Are You OK has heaps of simple steps on their website. Just head to areyook.org.au or simply Google Are You OK. It's not always easy to keep the conversation going when someone says they're not okay, but it seriously could change somebody's life. Now more than ever, people need their friends. Ongoing lockdowns, people not being able to see each other, and the stress of this pandemic is so taxing on people's mental health. With that said, let's get back into the conversation with Dom. Mate, I want to touch, because you obviously didn't go to Tokyo.
Yes.
There was some things, the reason you, we've asked you to come on is because this episode is, I think are we launching on Are You OK Day? Yeah, 2 days before Are You OK Day, which is a little bit about, like, it's obviously about mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was chatting to Tom earlier and he kind of just said, like, you haven't really spoken too much about why you didn't go to Tokyo or what sort of happened.
Yeah, not openly.
Yeah, not openly, like publicly or what those kind of things happen. And we talked a little bit about how, like, you were a prick. Like, like, what happened? Like, what's the processing? You work so fucking hard. Like, you've come out of a gold medal.
Yeah.
In your hometown.
Yeah.
Obviously, postponements and all those other kind of things. You were on track to go to Tokyo and obviously perform really well.
Yeah.
What happened?
So there was, like, I can't go too much into like why I was there, but there was a few like fallouts in Brisbane where I trained.
Yep.
And so just like not seeing eye to eye with certain like managers there, kind of thing.
Sport is, people don't know this, but sport is pretty political.
Sport is really political. Like, people think like, oh, you're just a diver. Like, you just dive. Like, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that,
budgets, money,
like
training facilities.
Training facilities, like personalities, like a lot of egos. Like, you're dealing with a lot of it. And so, like I said, like, I can be a prick at times, but anyway. We had a falling out. There was an incident. There was like a situation that occurred that, kind of led me to having to move to Adelaide. And so, like I said, like, I had like just bought, my first place with my partner.
In Brisbane.
Did not want to move, like, was not set to move. Like, Brisbane for me was like, this is home for the next, 3 years. I was like, Tokyo will be great. It won't be like another Olympics, but, I'll come back. I'm still young enough to be able to go to Paris kind of thing. My partner just gotten a job, like Inspire, like loves it. Like, we had created like a,
felt like it was home.
It was home. And like, we created like an amazing, like future for like the next, 3 years kind of thing. So anyway, I had to move to Adelaide. And the thing like that I really like struggle with. So like, there's two things that they say that causes like such stress and anxiety in life. It's intellectual independency. So like, not feeling like you have the choice to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my choice to move. That was the first thing. And the second thing was social independence. So I had no one there. I had a really close training partner of mine. She also moved to Adelaide. Yeah. But I had no one there. You know what I mean? Like, I lived by myself. I had no other friends but the person that I spent 6 hours a day with. So like, we didn't want to get on each other's nerves too much. And so like, I was really like isolated and alone.
Making friends in a new city is not easy either.
And I went into the mentality of like, not almost like, I didn't almost want to. I was just like, okay, fuck it. Like, you're in this like, and I didn't take time to either process it either. And like, this is the thing, like, that I think a lot of men really struggle with is like, when they find themselves in these situations where they're like, fuck, the walls are closing in on me. But it's like, I felt like I couldn't reach out. I felt like I just had to deal with it. And I felt like I just had to make it work because, like, just suck it up and keep going kind of thing. And it was really difficult because I'd done so much work, like I said, with Gemma, and it almost just went out the door. Like, I'd never experienced isolation like this. It was really tough. And so, yeah, like in Adelaide, didn't want to make any new friends. The closest thing I had to my friends was like, playing video games. And like, people kind of, like my girlfriend, kind of looks at video games like a bit funny. But like, honestly, like some of those days where like I would play with like Tommy or like Wayne would like really just like take me out of like a really dark hole. Like, I'm going to get emotional about it now because like, Tommy doesn't even know, or like Wayne doesn't even know like those guys like really took me out of a dark hole. Like some days where like days felt like days become weeks, weeks become months. Like the Adelaide trip was like in totality, shy of a year.
Yeah.
And it felt forever. Like I felt like there was every like second day I was calling George, my partner, like I want to quit. I was like, I can't do this. And she's like, if you want to come home, like you can come home. But I just felt like I had to keep going. It's this like athlete mentality where you feel like you just have to keep pushing on. And I think a lot of it is because with mental like health, you can't see it. So for athletes, like it's easy to see like a sprained ankle and be like, they can't train.
Injured.
Yeah, injured. Exactly. With mental health, it's like, you're just like, I can't do this. It's like, you look fine. What do you mean? It's like, I just, up here, I can't.
This
it's like
overwhelming anxiety in your,
so
like
much,
your body
so
starts
much anxiety,
to
man.
hard to breathe and like.
And that's what I mean. Like I wasn't at home. Like I was in like I'm not a foreign, like I was in Adelaide, but like I felt so far away from home. So we had bought the house just before I'd moved into it. So like my partner was having to move like all our shit into the house, paint it, do all this stuff that, I had set on, going through with her.
Something you wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, like we're never going to buy our first home again. And we're never going to be able to experience that again, like unfortunately. And so it was really, the first, I guess, few months was really, really tough. And it got, like I said, it got really dark. And it was bad because I still to this day, like, don't know why. I was in the mindset of like, I couldn't reach out. Like I was talking to like, someone like Tommy or Blake, who's, really close to me. I was talking to these guys, like I think it's a weird mentality when you're not there with them. You think that a phone call is like too much out of their time. I don't know why I had this idea, and then like maybe some people can kind of resonate with this, but it's like you feel like if you're calling them, like they're not going to have the time for you because they're busy people.
Yeah.
Like it's not like getting breakfast or a coffee where like, you're eating too. So like you're doing something you have to do. Do you know what I mean?
But I think we've tried to eliminate it in this business, and I've tried to eliminate it in my life, is not like everyone's like, oh, I don't want to distract you. You're too busy. Like, I know you're busy. I know you're this. Do you have 2 seconds? I know you're busy. Like, fuck, the fact that people think that when they like text, or can I give you a buzz? I know you're busy. Can we talk this afternoon or whatever it is? The fact that they think I'm too busy, or like that
they can't approach you.
Yeah, they can't approach you. You can't have that conversation.
Yeah,
I'm never too busy to not have that. I'm always available to have that conversation.
Absolutely,
But there's such a state of mind of like everyone's just fucking going at 100 miles an hour that everyone feels like they're going to disrupt that person's day or that person's life. But that person will definitely take the hour phone call or 2 hour phone call, whatever it is, to talk through whatever is going on. But you feel like you're doing them you feel like you're intruding, or you're ruining their day or whatever it is, like that you don't reach out.
Yeah.
And I've experienced it like when my daughter, like when I had my daughter, like I didn't want to work. I felt like I just wanted to be around her, and I felt like I was letting down my clients. I felt like I couldn't ring them and be like, oh, sorry, I'm on dad duty or whatever it is. It was just an excuse. Or like I felt like I was giving excuses not to do things, and I felt like I did a video on YouTube of it, but it was like I think like women get it's like postnatal depression or whatever it is.
Yeah. I've heard
and I fully had that. Like
okay.
I just went internal, and I was like, all I want to do is be around my daughter. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to be around her. I don't want to work. I just couldn't get out of bed. It was so weird, but I didn't reach it. It got to a point where I was like to my wife, I was like, I am really struggling. Like I need fucking help. Like end up in this hole. And I was like, if you don't feel like you can reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
And me and Tom have a very good friend who passed away probably like, when did he pass away? October last year, in the middle of a pandemic. Like, and he was reaching out regularly, but it just got to a point for him where he just like, he would reach out and he'd reach out and reach out and reach out. And then like, obviously not being able to see people or be able to communicate with people properly or actually see people, like being locked in his house in Melbourne, all those kind of things. It takes a toll on people. But fuck, no, I would rather somebody be like, fuck, hey, have you got 2 secs? Reach out, and that conversation be 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Then that person just felt like they're alone or not be able to talk to somebody.
It's tough, man. I'm sorry to hear about that. Like, obviously I know about it with Tom, but
Yeah.
it is shit, man. Like, it's like you said, it's hard because, like, I don't know why we have this stigma, like, especially I feel like around men, of not being able to reach out to, like, our mates in times where, like, we need them the most, like, because we feel like we're intruding on them. Like, and like you said, like, you know they're going to take the phone call and you know they're going to be there for you. But for some reason, you think, like, oh, I'm going to intrude on their day. I'm going to fuck up their schedule. Like, and then, you know, I don't want to piss them off. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to seem needy to them. It's really, like, I don't know. I honestly, like, obviously I've reflected on it and I just think, like, you know, you're an idiot. Never, you know, never think again that you can't reach out to your mates. But it's so true to say to people that are struggling, like, you can reach out to, like, your mates. Like, they will fucking take that phone call.
Absolutely.
And, like, and you know, I just felt myself in this hole, and I was looking at the Olympics, like, that will make you happy. Like, that will, like, get rid of all these thoughts that you're having. Like, this will take care of everything. Like, just keep going. So, like, you know how you said, like, you still want to get out of bed. Like, I love training. Like, that's the best part of it for me, is, like, the process. And I fucking hated training. Like, for the first time in my career, like, I would run off into the bathroom and cry, like, mid-training session. I'd just be standing there about to do a dive, and all of a sudden, like, this, like, just, like, overwhelming sense of anxiety would come over me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And, like, I've never experienced this. Like, I thought I had been sad in the past, but I was just like, what is this? And you just think, like, oh, like, you know, it will sort itself out. You have this mentality of, like, it'll fix itself. You know, I'm a strong character. Like, it'll sort itself out.
I just keep going.
Yeah. If I just keep going, it will, you know,
this will go away.
It will go away. Exactly. And so, like, it was just that process of just, it was like a fucking endless cycle for me in Adelaide. Like, you know, I would have, like, a good, like, an all right week, and I thought, like, okay, like, you know, things are getting better, and then it would just, like, do a 180 and go back the other way. And the more and more you don't reach out, the more you're just digging yourself in this hole, and the harder it is going to be to climb out of that. And so, yeah, eventually I got to the point where we were leaving for Olympic trials, and I reckon I had, in the 2 months before Olympic trials, every day I was having the conversation with G, like, I can't do this. I need to come home. And you have this, I had this, like, this idea that I was going to let so many people down. Like, I was like, I'm going to let all my friends down. I'm going to let all my family down. Like, and it's hard because, like, as an athlete, I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves behind our identity of, like, Dom the diver. Like, when I came into, like, the group with, like, you know, Tommy, you know, like, they all thought it was, like, so cool that I was an Olympic athlete. Yeah. And, like, even, like, and I know they would never think this. I was like, man, like, you know, they're probably never going to want to, like, hang out with me again. Like, if I don't go to the Olympics.
If I pull out, then they're going to,
I'm not interesting anymore. Yeah. Like, I'm just, like, Dom. Like, there's nothing interesting about me. Yeah. Like, I'm just a diver. And it's really, a lot of athletes struggle with this identity issue they have when they leave. And I'm sure, like, you know, I'm interested to see if, like, Kenny even experienced this when he left the sport, because you are propped up on this pedestal for so much of your life, being, you know, like, oh, this person just won a medal and they're doing this amazing thing.
When you get introduced to people, this is Dom, he's an Olympic athlete, or, like, that's, like, exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how you're introduced to people. It becomes so much a part of your identity that you're not just, you are this, kind of feel like this other person, or, like, people, it happens, like, all the time. It doesn't matter what you do. It's pretty common in our society to be like, oh, this is such and such, he's blah. Yeah. Whether it be a business owner or whatever.
He's owner of
Mr. Consistent. Like, like, it becomes so much a part of how we introduce people versus be like, oh, this is just Jared, my mate, or this is just whatever it is. And then, because it kind of, society has this idea of who you should be or what you should be, and like, all the things like Facebook and Instagram and all these social media platforms don't help that. But, like, your identity doesn't have to be what you do.
It absolutely doesn't.
Or what it is. Your identity is who you are and how you treat people, and how you know, how you act and interact with people. Like that's what people remember you for. They don't remember for you what you do essentially. Like they remember how you treated them.
You sure you're not a doctor?
Fucking
Yeah.
pretty sure. There's
Honestly,
no piece
like,
of paper on my wall.
That's like literally what you just said is like what my psych said to me, like word for word, pretty much. Like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, like absolutely, man, you're absolutely right. And like I said, I got into this like hole where I just thought I could not get out of it, and the Olympics, I had to go to it, kind of thing. Like otherwise, yeah, people.
Fucking almost wasted 4 years of my life between this Olympics and that Olympics or the Commonwealth Games, whatever it is. You know, like you feel like all the hard work you've done is wasted.
Yeah, yeah. And that's and then so yeah, we were at trials, literally I think 4 days before I was about to compete. You know, not to toot my own horn, but like you know, I was favorited to go.
Yeah.
And I think I got there, like did a training session, went back to my hotel room, cried, didn't want to be there. Thought like fingers crossed, like you'll wake up in the morning and you'll feel way better. Woke up in the morning, cried. And I was just like really trying to like turn it around in my own head, not even realizing like, you know, something needs to change. And I think like that's the biggest thing. It's like we find ourselves in these situations where like we know in the back of our heads, like we need to get the fuck out. We need to assess like why we're feeling like this. And we need to talk to the people that we need to talk to like get back on track. Cause like you're not like, I wasn't the Dom that I knew, you know, 8 months ago kind of thing.
You're not feeling like yourself.
No,
it's like it almost becomes like a out of body experience of I'm just going through the motion because this is what everybody around me wants me to do.
Yeah, I could not have said it better myself. And it's hard though, because like you just don't want to let anyone down. Like I said, like, you know, parents, family, friends, you just think like they all love you because you are this person. And like that's the only reason they love you. Like, you know, like that's it.
It's so the opposite.
It really is the opposite. And it's like, and like I said, it takes removing yourself from the situation and, you know, talking to the people that you need to talk to. And especially like my psych Gemma, like was so like instrumental in me looking at the Olympics. And, you know, she gave me the advice. She's like, what if you just do the trials and see how you feel after? And I said, if I do the trials, like I feel like I'll be stuck in it then. Like there'll be no return because like I'll have to go to the Olympics.
I will have qualified.
I will have qualified. Yeah. Like I can't pull out if I like make the team. Like, and I was like, if I go, like I'll fucking hate it. And like it, and there was already times in Adelaide where like it got really, you know, it got really dark. And like when I say really dark, like there were a couple of times like I would go to sleep and I was like, I wouldn't care if I didn't wake up, kind of thing. Like that's how dark it got.
That's dark.
That's how bad it got. And you know, I only ever like told Georgia that, but like I want to be able to, you know, talk about it and stuff to kind of like show people that, you know, if you're feeling in that hole, that like you can fucking climb out of that thing, man. Like, you know, you have to open up and you have to, you know, kind of see that you're not alone, because you are not alone.
You have
so
to
many
let
people
know,
fucking love you, and that's the thing. And like, yeah, and like I just knew so many people loved me, and kind of thing. And so yeah, I made the call I think 2 days before the trials, because I was just said to my partner, I was like, I'm getting on a plane tonight. I'm coming home. Like I can't do this anymore. Like, you know, just crying on the phone. I was like, this is, you know, Olympics is not worth losing myself. Yeah. Kind of thing. Even though like we as a society prop this, you know, thing up to be what it is. And it was amazing to see so many high level athletes, like even Simone Biles, like come out and openly speak about it.
I feel like this Olympics was and in sport in general, I feel like that's happening a lot more because there is so much pressure and so much weight put on these people's shoulders that finally people are like, they can't cope anymore. And like people are slowly opening up about it. Like when you have that much weight put on, you wonder why like so many rich people like
take their lives.
Yeah. Like
it's true, man.
Because they have all these people relying on them, and it's a similar feeling in sport, you know, like you've got all these people cheering you on. You're like, fuck, if I let these people down. But mate, I'm so glad that you are talking about it and you took it upon yourself and, you know, came to the decision of just going, you know what, happiness is worth more than giving the country a medal or whatever.
Dream.
Yeah,
It is,
giving
it truly is.
the country this Olympic dream, and my coaches and all these people are relying on me for their like it's the thing, you don't get a medal, no budget. That would have been in the back of your mind. All those kind of things, just taking that weight off your shoulders and just being like coming home. And is that what happened? Like you came home, like breathe a sigh of relief almost?
Yeah, I think like with any like major decision you make, and I'm sure like you've probably had these decisions, like once you make it and you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders, it was the right decision. I was so, I talked to some people and their comments were, I don't want you to look back and regret this. And that was running through my head so much. I thought like, fuck, am I doing the wrong thing here? Like, and once again, like you're listening to like the outside world kind of thing, like of what the expectations are of you. And I just thought, am I doing the wrong thing by getting on this plane? And when I made the decision to tell my coach and that, I was just like, I got to bow out. And it was funny. He even kind of knew. He's just like, yeah, like, you weren't yourself for the last however many months.
Yeah.
And, I'm proud of you and, I wish you the best kind of thing. And so, yeah, like getting on the plane was great. I mean, like, I'm not going to lie, it was difficult to like sit there and watch the Olympics. There were days where like, I didn't want to fucking talk to anyone. Because once again, like I was then letting like the comments about like, oh, you sure you don't want to go? Like, it's an amazing experience. Like, not many people get to experience this and you'd be giving that up. And I'm like, fuck, like, should I have gone? Like, was I meant to be there?
You've experienced it before. And there's also like this FOMO of like the fear of missing out as well. Like,
that's 100%
true.
True.
Like there's a part of it that, fuck, inside of you, you're probably like, oh, I'm thankful I didn't go, blah, blah, blah. But there's a part of you that goes, shit, I probably would have really liked this part about it.
Yeah.
Or like there's a to and fro within your body and in your mind of like
a tug of war.
Yeah. I would have loved to be diving at the Olympics, but fuck the 6 months to 12 months before that, I couldn't have gone through that as a person.
Yeah.
But God damn, I would have been loved to be standing on a podium or even diving in the Olympics.
I'm TikTok famous. Get that TikTok cloud over there.
But there's
I know
like
what you mean. I had that for sure.
Constant tug of war. Like even then, like it would have been definitely hard for you to watch. But
yeah, and it was, man. It was difficult. But again, like I urge anyone in that situation, like your happiness, like cannot come at the expense of anything. Like I don't care what it is, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I really do truly believe that. Like this something that I was working for, all my life was not going to come at the cost of my happiness. And it took a lot of amazing people around me to make me realize that. But it also took me to reach out to
have the conversations, and get those conversations.
Exactly, get those conversations rolling, and like just immediately realizing that you're not alone, and that you do have people that love you, that are around you. Is really important.
As I said, really, mate, people remember you for your personality, not what you've done.
Hopefully, Hopefully they remember me for my cocktail making skills. Number 7.
26. What is it? No, was it 24?
26, 24.
26, 24. Remember Dom for his cocktail making skills.
Above.
Are you still diving?
I recently have just gone back to some training, yeah. So, I kind of looked at this situation, and I like I said, I did a lot of work behind the scenes with my sports psych and everything, a lot of tough conversations, a lot of reflecting, and just I am slowly coming back just to see if this is something that I want to go for.
There is some sort of fire.
Yeah, there is some sort of fire, exactly. And like even watching, some people that I really love and respect in the sport, in the Olympics, like seeing them, fulfill their dreams. I know what went wrong, just kind of like what you were talking about. Like, I know what went wrong. I know what I did wrong. I know where I can do better. And I know how to make the next part of it something that I enjoy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like something that I really love doing again.
I feel like that's why a lot of athletes retire early as well. Like they like some football players are just mentally strong. They're mentally built to do those kind of things, but some retire early and they go into different careers, or like so many, like there's this one guy, he's like retired pretty early. He's gone into like real estate and stuff, but he's just a magician. Like he's so good
at real estate.
Yeah. Like he's just, and he's really personable and really like, but was an amazing footy player, but he just loves what he's doing now. Like you can just tell, like he was had a whole bunch of injuries and stuff, but like, you know, it's cutthroat as well. Like you have an injury, there's somebody there to replace you, or there's somebody in your spot isn't held.
Yeah.
Where, I can imagine it's fucking.
It is, man. It's brutal. And like I said, like I'm a diver. Like, you know, I'm at a level, but then there's levels above that, which I'm like, fucking hell. Like, you know, you can't trip or kick your toe.
Any advice, mate, you've got for people like in that space, or like that are currently in that space, or feel like they're in that space, not quite sure?
Honestly, like I said, like reach out to those people around you. Like even if you think that you're going to disturb their day or they're not going to have the time for you, like they're going to have the time for you. And like I said, I know you said before, like no regrets. That was my biggest regret, because I had so many people around me that fucking loved me and cared about me and like just want the best for you, like just you, the person. And, you know, they will, you know, give you the time of day. So it's just honestly, it's like reaching out, getting the conversation started, like, you know, like so many great charities and campaigns are doing, like just like, you know, talking about it, checking in with the person, like, hey, are you okay, for example? Like just honestly, like getting that conversation started, like you're not alone.
Never more than any time now as well, like when people are locked in their homes, they don't have anyone.
No, this is the toughest time for people, like absolutely. And like I said before, like that isolation, you know, we really, I don't think anyone, you know, it's tough.
There's this one part, like when this first lockdown first happened, I was living in Sydney, and I'm a person that has to go to the beach, you know, every second day, just jump in the water, swim, surf, whatever it is. The ocean's what like makes me feel free and like clears my mind. And it's the place where I don't think about anything and I just enjoy. And when they put a 6-foot fence up from Bondi to Maroubra and you couldn't actually go down the beach and go on the water, I was like, this is hell on earth. Like just not being able to have that freedom or even go to the beach or anything like that. That's when I started being like, I got to get up. And I'm like watching Tommy here. He's on the beach. Everyone's in lockdown up here, surfing, swimming, having drinks on the beach stuff. I'm like, I can't even go to my favorite place. Like the place that lets me release and be happy. So
it's like a little temple kind of thing.
Yeah, and that like in Carissa, like that's where we were like, we made the decision. We're like we're working from home, can't go to the beach. I'm unhappy, and we literally packed up our house in 24 hours and
wow, really
drove back to the Gold Coast. Dog, wherever the podcast dog is, wherever she's hanging out the window. Kid in the back, surfboards on the roof. We literally packed up our house and moved back to the Goldie. I was like, I'm not being in lockdown for another day in Sydney. I was like, we're out.
Were you so just like, this is the decision, like we're doing it, or were you a bit like, fuck, like?
Nah, me and Carissa, when we make a decision as a family, we just go for it. Like we're like, this is really hard. Lola was at home because she couldn't go to daycare. Carissa was working from home for her job. All my work had been cut, and I was just like, the Mr. Consistent thing was kind of ticking along. Like we're getting it done, like just kind of building it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't work from home with Lola being at home, with Carissa being at home all day, every day. Can't go to the beach. I said to her, we got to go. I was like, we can't be here any longer. Our rent's in Sydney's expensive, right?
Yeah,
like we were back to one wage. They wouldn't reduce our rent. I couldn't get payments from the government because I was self-employed at that stage. So we literally were just like, we're out. Like this is not us. We're unhappy. This is not fun.
It's a toxic environment.
We couldn't see our friends. We didn't have that many friends. We had like 2 or 3 groups, like 2 or 3 couples as friends down there. We're like, we're out. We're done. We come back to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Came back, moved in with my parents. Wasn't that fun, but relieved this. Like I felt this pressure just come off my shoulders of just Lola, I can do my work. I can do this. She's happy because she can go outside. She can do stuff. People just don't understand how people that are outdoors people need to be outdoors.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. We're the best.
Mate, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Like I know it's one of those it's one of those stories. It's so it's hard to recap on and it's hard to tell,
but people need to know they can reach out and
or
talk
even
to
just
people.
like people are going through this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, like, you know, when I made the decision, like people like Tommy and that, they would have had no idea, kind of thing. Like, it can be happening to anyone. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, you know, it can happen to like, all of us. So we just need to be there for each other. And
Absolutely.
fucking love each other.
Absolutely. People help make change.
Absolutely, man.
On a slightly lighter subject,
Yeah.
we're going to play a card game.
Awesome.
Never have
What
I
is it?
ever. Never have I ever.
Uh-huh.
This is how we're going to finish.
this.
Never have I ever pack. It's coming out.
Oh, that's your own personal brand.
Yeah, this is the Mr.
that's
Consistent card game.
I didn't even realize that. Where are you going to sell it? Like at
It's gonna be-
Universal and shit?
Yeah, Universal's going to
Yeah.
have it. They've ordered
smart.
it. We'll have it online, but most of like our boutique retailers will have it.
Oh man, I'm gonna go. When does it come out?
When's it coming in,
I'll go
Kirsten?
buy one soon. 2
2
weeks.
weeks,
All right.
There you go.
I'll pre-order.
How good. All right, I've got a bunch of questions here.
Why do you get to look at them? Are we playing this together or what?
Nah,
Oh,
just you. This is just
I
you.
want to hear your juicy stories.
I've got plenty, but you can hear them off camera.
Ooh.
Off microphone. All right,
Shut the cameras off.
choose a question. And then
Choose a question.
I reckon you should have a story for any one of these.
You choose a question.
No,
I
you're
just
gonna
pick
you're
a
gonna
card.
choose. Just pick a card and then
Yeah.
read it and then tell me if you've done it.
Never have I ever partied with a celeb. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I gotta
Party with a celebrity.
Celebrities, actually. Yeah, not to
Tease!
boast. Yes, celebrities. So after Rio, I have a really good friend who's also a diver. His name's I hate name dropping, but he's a very famous diver.
Name drop him.
He's Tom.
It's a
I don't know. If
we're
you
talking
probably know
about
him.
celebrities.
Yeah, Tom Daly.
Don't know.
He's a British. He's 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 like a sex icon.
Is he?
Yeah, he's very attractive. Like
What's his name?
Tom Daly.
Tom
The
Daly.
nicest guy you'll ever meet. Like, and he's just, it's pretty crazy. So
I'm gonna Google him.
yeah, Google him. So I had just done Rio, and like I'm really good friends with the British team. Like they're just, you know, great people.
Yeah.
And we became like pretty good friends through competitions and that, because we're in the same event. And so like he was someone that I watched. Anyway, I went to London for like 2 weeks after Rio for like a little holiday.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, you can stay with me. Like it'll be fun." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like I knew he was kind of famous. I had no idea how fucking famous he was. Like I'm talking every second person stopped us on the street.
Really?
Like he's that famous. He's the most successful diver like we've got.
Yeah.
Like people know about diving probably because of him.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so he's like, "Oh, you know, I've got this event tonight. Like, I got you a ticket. It'll be fun." I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, you know, what are we doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's the Bridget Jones world premiere." And I just thought like, "Oh, that'll be cool." Thinking it's just like the ones you see people go to at fucking Pacific Fair.
Not knowing how big Bridget Jones is
I
going to be.
know how big Bridget Jones is, but like, I just thought it was like these things that you get given. Like,
Yeah.
It didn't click that the actors are going to be there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, cool." And like, I get there and like, he walks the red carpet and like me and his other best friend, we like walk behind, like kind of like where the media is.
Yeah.
And I was like walking past and I look up and it's like, who's the main actor in it? I forget her name.
I don't
Of
even know.
Bridget Jones. What's her name?
I'm not
Renee Zellweger? No, Emma Thompson was also in it. And
I'm not
like,
good with
and
actors.
Patrick, I'm like pretty good. Like Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
Like Doctor like Beautiful or whatever they fucking call him. Like all these people, like all of a sudden, then I'm just like, "Oh shit! Like this is a big deal. Like this is a big event."
I'm somewhere where I shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like so foreign to me. Like anyway, watched the movie. Like it was fucking hilarious. Like and then he's like, "All right, we're going to this after party." And I was like, "Oh, this is sick." And went to the after party and then like sat down in this like booth and the waiters were like, "Oh, like we don't actually have a table for you, but you can have that booth." And we're like, "Oh, this is fucking lit." Anyway, like next thing Patrick Dempsey walks past and Tom's like, "Oh yeah, we took his booth." Like that's how famous he is in London, like way more famous than fucking Patrick Dempsey.
Really?
Yeah, like everyone knows who he is. And then Emma Thompson, she's a British actor. She's won an Oscar and shit.
Yeah.
She's super famous. We were like, this is towards the end of the night. Like we were pretty fucking drunk. And like she was talking to me with her daughter and like talking about the Olympics. And I was like, yeah. And Tom had won a medal in the synchro with another guy named Dan Goodfellow, who like maybe at the time, like we kind of look similar when it's dark. Like we have like dark hair.
Bedggood, good fellow.
Yeah. Real similar. Accents are the same. Like, and we're quite short. And so she's like, oh my God, like, you know, I loved, you know, watching you and Tom at the Olympics. So I was like, oh, like in my head, I'm like, oh, fuck, she watched me. That's pretty cool. And she's like, the way you guys celebrated that medal was amazing. Like it made my heart warm. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, and I was like, she's not talking about me. And then it clicked. I was like, she thinks I'm Daniel Goodfellow. And then like she was like, anyway, it's been like so lovely talking to you, because like her publicist was like, okay, we got to leave. And I was like, in my head, I was like, she thinks you're Daniel. We're too far in for me to tell her no.
Say thank you.
Yeah, and I just looked at her and I was like, in a British accent, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Like, oh, that's been lovely talking to you.
This shocking Australian British accent.
British accent. I was just like, I did that on the riff. And I was just like, well, talk to Emma Thompson for the night. I have a photo with her somewhere. But
That's sick.
But it was crazy, man. And we went to another party, like the GQ Awards.
Oh, yeah.
And there was like Simon, the guy off Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
The main guy. He was there. Like Anthony Joshua was there. The guy off Star Trek was there. The really handsome guy. I forget his name.
I'm not a Star Trek fan.
No, not Chris Hemsworth. He's really good looking. He's on that Wonder Woman movie. He's the main guy actor. He was like, he's real handsome in real life. And it was a room full of famous people.
Got the hookups.
Yeah, it was real famous. That Labyrinth dude was like in the corner. James Bay, the singer. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, that's, you know, like he's a really good singer. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
What is going on?
I'm like, that's his life, man. His husband is an Oscar writer.
Really?
He's won an Oscar for Milk.
Yeah.
Have you seen that with Sean Penn?
I know the movie though.
Yeah. So he wrote that, and in their house, they have like, I think it's a running joke, but like Tom's awards are in this like beautiful wooden cabinet, and then all of Lance's awards are in the toilet. And he has an Oscar, and like I'll show you the video after. But the Oscar, like an actual Oscar, is sitting like right in front of the toilet. In the toilet. Pissed. Yeah, so you walk in, taking a piss, and there's like an Oscar right in front of you. You're like, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So hopefully
that's an amazing story.
Yeah. So friends in high places, I guess.
Mate, that's a string you want to keep pulling on.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
Mate, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing your story. Like I know that story is obviously, you never obviously really went public with why you pulled out of the games and stuff like that. Yeah. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to bring up. But I think the moral of the story is you have to talk about those things. Yeah. And if you don't, you just end up in a dark, dark place where you don't want to be. And if you are in that spot,
there are people.
There are
people.
I can DM Mr. Consistent. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, DM
we
me.
Like,
honestly,
damn, Dom. I put like, we're there for people. We want to embrace like our Mr. Consistent community is. We love engaging and talking with people and like bringing our customers into our business. Like, if a customer rang and was like, "I'm in a dark place," I would 100% pick up the phone and give that person the time of day.
That's amazing,
absolutely.
Man. That's amazing. That's what I guess separates you guys.
But
family community.
Absolutely. Yeah. We treat this place is like a giant family, mate.
Yeah. I get that vibe when I walked in.
That's all. Yeah, mate.
Amazing vibes. Amazing vibes here.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming in, mate. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you. I'll have to win a gold medal to get back on here.
Get back up
have
on
another
there.
fucking crack
have
at
another
that board.
chance.
That's my motivation.
The motivation to get back on the shake
What's
up.
your motivation? Jared. Jared's the reason I do all these push-ups.
Don't let me be the reason,
I'll put you on like, the fucking dartboard. It's like Jared's face.
Nah, I'll get a print on it. I'll get a sticker of Mr. Consistent and you can take him everywhere with you. Actually, just take a bottle everywhere with you.
Gatorade.
Mate, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. If you are struggling, reach out, hit us up, hit Dom up, hit your friends up. Keep in touch with everybody. This is a really, really weird time in society at the moment. So
strange.
Talk to your friends. Fuck, FaceTime. I FaceTime my friends all the time. It's the best. Keep in touch.
Man of technology we got.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Cheers,
very
mate.
much.
That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Go show the Shake Up some love and stay connected. Don't forget you can watch all of our episodes on YouTube. Also, jump over to our Shake Up Cocktail Gang Facebook page where you can find out who's coming up on the podcast. And if you've got questions for them, I'll ask the bloody questions. You can also use the code SHAKEUP for 10% off on mrconsistent.com.au. Thank you so much for listening. And just remember, Shit, that's fresh.